Wiki wiki, students. Now, your stories your way. Stu Basement Tapes.
Good morning, Fredericton.
Welcome to your first Stu Journalism newscast of 2007.
I'm Nicole Badgery.
And I'm Susan Earhart.
Your top stories for this morning. Councillors at City Hall in Fredericton have been discussing the possibility of building a pedway over the old Trans-Canada Highway between the University of New Brunswick and Skyline Acres. There have been several accidents at the site over the years, including one fatality. Peggy Klein has the story.
It's a site almost as common as transport trucks and road signs. Motorists on the former Trans-Canada Highway have gotten used to seeing students and other residents cut across the road near Skyline Acres.
I cross the highway because I live at the top of Canterbury on Liverpool Street, and it's a 6-minute walk from here to campus as opposed to going to the bottom of the hill and cutting over and coming back up. It's probably about a 25-minute walk.
For years, the city has discussed the possibility of building a pedway over the highway. City Councillor Tony Whalen says they've considered different options, but a pedway seems the most viable.
Actually looked at other options. There's the possibility of fencing to stop people from crossing, but as we've seen behind the Fredericton Mall going to the Regent Mall, that is a short-lived solution. I think the most realistic option is to have an actual pedway or a pedestrian crossing.
Rudy Walters, a third-year student at St. Thomas University, crosses the highway daily on his way to class.
I think it would be a great idea, especially in the winter months where the road can freeze over and students could slip on their way across the highway, especially given the amount of traffic that goes by here, both by students and by vehicles. It would make a lot of sense to put a pedway over here.
The problem, however, is that the estimated cost of the project is $1 million.
The Department of Transportation typically would cover the cost of those types of projects. The city has a number of transportation priorities that is ongoing with the Department of Transportation, and this is now one of those projects that is on the list.
Critics argue that many people crossing the former Trans-Canada Highway will simply ignore the pedway for quicker routes. And while proponents say that saving any lives would make the project worth the cost, any possible construction is still several years off. Until then, residents of Skyline Acres will either have to take the long way or take the risk. For Stu Journalism, I'm Peggy Klein, reporting.
Clinics are being set up around the province to offer MMR vaccinations to those eligible, including the UNB campus. Megan Siegel has more on the story.
The recent outbreak of mumps in the Maritimes has left Fredericton residents wondering if they should get their MMR vaccinations. Kim Greekin is a public health nurse working with the Fredericton Public Health Office. She is also one of the immunization coordinators. Part of her job is offering free immunization clinics throughout the city of Fredericton.
MMR vaccine is a combination vaccine of 3 diseases for measles, mumps, and rubella, given in one injection.
Some people are hesitating to get their MMR vaccination because of the possible side effects.
Possible side effects may be a slight fever, a headache, general malaise, general tiredness, and sometimes a mild rash. But many people, may just have a headache or may not have any side effects at all.
There have been 3 clinics offered at the UNB Student Union building so far. They hope these clinics will reduce the potential mumps cases in the Maritimes. Over 1,500 students have taken advantage of the free vaccination. Some students, such as John DeCoste, have a better safe than sorry attitude concerning the virus.
It's not a big deal. It took like half an hour maximum out of my day. So to avoid, things like meningitis and being sterile, that's not that big a price to pay.
Most people had a vaccination at the age of 1. A second shot acts as a booster to ensure its effectiveness. Everyone between the ages of 18 and 24 are being offered the second booster.
Over time, there is some indication that it might, weaken a little bit over time, so especially in the 18 to 24-year-old age group, so that's why the booster dose is recommended.
So far, there have been approximately 100 cases of mumps reported in New Brunswick. For Stu Journalism, this is Megan Siegel and Marcel Saunier.
A 3-month pilot project testing a biodiesel fuel additive in Fredericton city buses has shown some promising results. With more on that story, here's Melissa Oakley.
Fredericton has been evolving into a greener city in recent years. One of the latest projects is reducing greenhouse gas emissions released by city buses. Sandy McNeil is manager of the Transit Division for Fredericton and says that the results from this pilot project are encouraging.
We noticed about a 20% increase in mileage for the vehicles that were using this additive, we noticed a significant decrease in the amount of CO and CO2 that was produced, and overall it seemed to be a fairly cost-effective results that came out of it.
The cost of using the biodiesel additive is only 1 cent per liter more than regular diesel. This would not cost bus travelers any extra money. The 3-month-long pilot project tested a fuel additive made from methanol, mustard crops, and canola oil. Frank Collins, the senior instructor of UNB Chemical Engineering, played a key role in the biodiesel research.
I conducted tests on emissions from the exhaust of 3 different buses here in the city bus fleet and compared them to buses that were not receiving the additive product.
As Fredericton strives to become Canada's first city to reach the Kyoto Protocols, this biofuel additive in the city buses could be the answer. The results of the pilot project are in the works, and the announcement on whether or not the buses will all get this biofuel additive will be announced soon. For Stu Journalism, I'm Melissa Oakley.
Thanks, Melissa.
And after the break, we're going to jazz things up. Please stay with us.